Hello, everyone. My name is Nicole Canesi, and I work with Career Services in the Feliciano School of Business. I will be hosting our pre-recorded webinar today. Thank you for watching. Today, I'll be speaking about the format of a resume and showing you how to successfully create a professional college resume within the School of Business. Think of a resume as your first job assignment that your boss is going to review. So with that being said, you want to make sure that your resume is completed to the best of your ability and that it's professional. So there are 4 steps that will help you to get that perfect resume. You want to be clear, be concise, be corresponding, and be consistent. When it comes to being clear, it is imperative that you are making sense to the reader. By doing so, they will have a better understanding of who you are as a worker, as well as a person. By being concise, you want to make sure that you are not overindulging. Instead, you want to write about experiences, skills, and activities that highlight your abilities. And in order to show someone that you are corresponding on a resume, make sure that you are tailoring your experiences and abilities to the job that you are applying for. Now remember, to be consistent, specifically when it comes to the formatting on your resume, you want to make sure that you are using the same font size and name, you line up all your dates, and use the same amount of spaces in between sections. Really test your detail-oriented skills here. Please also remember that resumes are subjective. And what I mean by that is depending on who you show your resume to, they may have more or different suggestions than someone else. With that being said, at the end of the day, everything that is told to you in regard to your resume is purely suggestion-based. At the end of the day, you are the sole decider on what you would like presented on your resume. You own your resume. When writing your resume, there are a few common mistakes that you should stay away from. One being pronouns. Although a resume is catered to your abilities and is written by you about your experiences, you still want to make sure you are being concise, like we spoke about in an earlier slide. For the next don't, I'm going to combine number 2 and 3. Don't go over 1 page. On average, the hiring manager who is reading your resume takes about 15 to 30 seconds to review your resume. They see more than 1 page and may be a turnoff to them, as well as using paragraphs. Lastly, since you are now in college, it is important to show the reader that you are involved in new activities and experiences in your most current years. They unfortunately do not want to see what clubs you did during your freshman year of high school. Unfortunately, it is seen as irrelevant to them. So now that we have a better understanding of what we should do on our resume and what we shouldn't do, I'm going to break down the different sections of your resume and what they entail. Your first section should be your profile or summary of qualifications. That will come right under your contact information. Then you will have your education section, followed by your experience section, activities and honors, and lastly, you will end with your skills section. In the next few slides, I will break down each section and explain them more in depth. So before your education section, you should list a profile statement or a summary of qualification section. This is not a mandatory section, but of course it is recommended. The differences between the two aren't huge, and ultimately it is up to your preference. For an example, a profile statement is usually brief and is letting the reader know which position you are applying for. This sometimes comes in handy if there are multiple job openings at the same company. It allows the hiring manager to get a better understanding of what team you are applying for and to see if you are tailoring your resume towards that specific position. A summary of qualifications is an area in which you can truly speak to your outstanding abilities. You want to make sure you are providing quantitative data here. This is a time to be very, very specific, not vague. So if you are in sales and you increased revenue by a certain percentage, you may want to state that here. All right, so next comes your education section. Here you'll be telling the reader what school you are currently attending, the degree you will be graduating with, and what you are majoring in. There's no need to state when you started your schooling at the college level. Instead, you want to tell them when you are expected to graduate. You can see in the example below that it also mentions the city and state in which your college is in. Please also remember that resumes go in reverse chronological order. That means that your most current schooling and jobs should be listed first. Also, you want to make sure that you check your NEST account if you are unsure of your degree, major, and concentration if you have one. Please do not guess. You can also see in the example that you may list your minor below your first degree. Lastly, if you are noticing that you do not have enough information, experience, and highlights to fill up a full one page, you may create a subsection within your education section called Relevant Courses. If you rewind the video and go back to the third slide, you will see an example of the subsection. Within this subsection, make sure that you are listing courses that have to do with your major and concentration and are upperclassmen work that you received a good grade in, of course. So if you are a marketing concentration, maybe list some courses that you feel highlight your skills to complete the job you're applying for and not, a biology lab course. So your experience section is where you really want to show your professional abilities, whether that be in regard to your working experience or interning experience as well. This is where you want to make sure you are truly highlighting your past and current job responsibilities. It is okay to remove some of your older working experience if you feel they will not benefit you from receiving an interview. Just place them in another Word document because you never know when you may need them in the future. The basic idea is you want to show the hiring manager/reader that you are a necessity at all companies you work for. So if you can be goal-oriented with a previous job, then keep it on your resume. We usually suggest that you list 3 to 5 bullet points per job description and that you are separating each job responsibility as a different bullet point. While you're writing each bullet point, you must continuously remind yourself that you should try to direct each of your bullet points towards the job you are applying for. You want to make sure that when you are setting up your job experiences, that you are again placing them in reverse chronological order and mirroring the way you set up your education section. Instead, you are plugging in your company's name, the city and state, your job title, and your start month and year, as well as when you left, or if you are presently working there. Another way to get better at writing your bullet points is looking back on past job descriptions and utilizing Google. These resources will allow you to get a better understanding of what you did as a worker and how to write in a more appealing and professional manner. You may also feel free to follow the link below. Our Career Services Department within Feliciano School of Business has useful tools to further assist you in building your resume. When it comes to your activities section, you may want to couple this up with your honors, clubs, or volunteer work. That is fine, but just make sure your section titles reflect what you will be speaking about. Like we talked about earlier, you want to make sure you are only speaking about activities and highlights during your college career and that you are listing the location and dates that it took place, like the example shows below. For your last section, skills, you may want to couple this up with your interests or certificates, or both. Like I said previously, just make sure that your title reflects what you will be speaking about. I find that ending your skills section with 1 to 2 bullet points in regard to your favorite hobbies that assists you in sticking out from the rest, but they can also hinder you if they're not professional. So a good middle ground would be make sure these hobbies refer to something in which the company would be interested in, such as maybe volunteer work or company sports teams, something along those lines. When speaking about your skills section, you want to make sure that you are sticking to hard skills only. This means within this section, you should only list computer programs known as well as languages spoken. So if you speak another language aside from English, you may list it here. You may also list computer programs that you are learning or know within your major and concentration. But when it comes to soft skills, these are the skills that are assumed you know by now, such as detailed oriented, public speaking, you're that hard worker. All of these skills are important to have, but you should embed them within your bullet points in a professional manner. Well, with that being said, we now have reached the end of our presentation. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to use the email address listed below. For career services, generalized questions, you can reach out to bus-careers@montclair.edu. If you have any questions in regard to your resume or are in need of assistance and would like a career advisor to review your work, send your resume as a Word document to sbusresumes@montclair.edu. Or if you would like to schedule a phone or Zoom appointment with one of our career advisors, you may contact our office at 973-655-4303. Otherwise, thank you for tuning in and stay safe and be well.